Most people will never hit $1 million. Not because they're lazy, not because they're dumb, but because no one ever showed them the map. Here's the truth. Building $1 million portfolio isn't one big leap. It's 4 completely different levels, and each one has its own rules, its own mistakes, and its own mindset. And the craziest part? The level you're in right now is probably why you feel stuck. So today, I'm going to walk you through all of it, from 0 to your first 10K, to 100K, all the way to $1 million. And if you're somewhere in the middle, let's be real. This is the hardest level, not because of the math, because of the mindset. When you've got nothing, saving feels pointless. You put away $50 and think, what's this even going to do? But here's what most people don't realize. That first $10,000 isn't about the money. It's about proving to yourself that you can do it. So how do you get there? First, stop trying to invest before you have a base. I know that sounds backwards, but if you've got no emergency fund and you throw $500 into the stock market, the first unexpected bill wipes you out, and you're back to zero again. Step 1. Build a $1,000 emergency cushion. Put it in a high-yield savings account. Don't touch it. Step 2. Kill your high-interest debt. Credit cards charging you 24%? That's a guaranteed negative return. You can't outperform that in the market. Pay it down first. Step 3. Once you're clear, automate $200 a month into a low-cost index fund. S&P 500. Total market. Something boring. Something simple. Here's the truth. Boring wins at this level. You don't need crypto. You don't need options. You need consistency. At $200 a month with average market returns, you're looking at your first $10,000 in about 3 to 4 years. Faster if you find ways to earn more, but the habit is the whole game here. Most people quit at level 1. They get bored. They get distracted. They see someone online. Okay, you made it to level 2. And here's where something interesting happens. The math starts working for you. At $10,000 invested, a 10% return gives you $1,000 without doing anything. That's a month of groceries just showing up in your account. But wait, this level has a trap, and it gets almost everybody. You start feeling confident, the account's growing, you start thinking, maybe I should try picking individual stocks. Maybe I should time the market. Maybe I should put it all in that hot sector everyone's talking about. Don't do it. Here's what actually works at level 2. Max out your tax-advantaged accounts first. Your 401k up to the employer match, that's free money, take it. Then your Roth IRA, $7,000 a year in 2024. After that, a regular brokerage account. Keep buying index funds, but now you can start adding a little structure. Maybe 80% total U.S. market, 15% international, 5% bonds if you want to sleep better at night. And here's the part nobody talks about. At this level, your income matters more than your investments. A 10% return on $20,000 is $2,000, but a $5,000 raise, that changes everything faster. So while your money is compounding, you compound yourself. Learn a skill, ask for a raise, start a side hustle. Every extra dollar you can throw at this level shortens the timeline dramatically. Most people don't realize this level takes the longest. It can feel like you're grinding forever. You go from 30K to 40K and it feels like nothing changed. But here's the truth. The 10K to 100K journey is where you build the discipline that makes everything after this possible. Don't rush it, just don't quit. Welcome to level 3. And I want you to feel this for a second. You have 6 figures. That number used to feel impossible, and now it's real. Here's what changes at $100,000. Compounding stops being theoretical. At 10% average annual return, your portfolio is now generating $10,000 a year without you lifting a finger. But wait, level 3 has its own danger, and it's sneaky. Lifestyle creep. You're making more, the portfolio's growing, and suddenly you're upgrading the car, moving to a nicer apartment, eating out more. Nothing wrong with enjoying life, but if your spending rises as fast as your income, you stay stuck. At this level, the strategy shifts. You start thinking about asset allocation more seriously. You've got enough to diversify across asset classes, stocks, bonds, maybe real estate investment trusts. You might open a taxable brokerage and start being smarter about tax loss harvesting. Here's the truth. Taxes become your biggest enemy at level 3. A financial advisor or even a good tax accountant can save you more money than any hot stock pick. You also want to automate everything you possibly can. Set it and forget it. The people who obsessively check their portfolios every day actually perform worse than people who just leave it alone. I know that's hard to believe, but it's true. At this level, you're also thinking about protection. Life insurance if you have people depending on you, a will, disability insurance, because now you have something worth protecting. 100K to 500K can take 8 to 12 years depending on how much you're investing. But here's the wild part. Compound interest starts doing most of the heavy lifting. The market does more work than you do. Stay boring. Stay consistent. Don't touch it. $500,000. Let that land. Level 4 is different from every other level because here, the money is genuinely working harder than you are. At $500,000 with a 10% average return, the market is adding $50,000 a year to your account. That's a full salary for a lot of Americans, just sitting there, growing. This is what people mean when they talk about financial freedom. Not that you stop working, but that work becomes a choice. Here's the truth. Most people who reach level 4 don't blow it on a Ferrari. They actually get more conservative because now there's real money to lose. At this level, you start thinking about sequence of returns risk. Basically, the order of good years and bad years matters when you're close to drawing down. A bad market crash right before retirement can hurt way more than a crash early on. So diversification gets serious. You might have stocks, bonds, real estate, maybe some dividend-paying assets generating income. You're not chasing returns, you're protecting what you built. And here's something most people don't realize. The psychological game changes completely. When your portfolio drops 10%, that used to mean losing $2,000. Now, it means losing $50,000 in a week. That's terrifying if you're not mentally prepared. The investors who make it to $1 million and beyond have one thing in common. They don't panic. They've seen corrections before. They remember that the market has recovered from every single downturn in history. Every single one. You keep your allocation. Here's what I want you to take away from this. The $1 million isn't really the point. The point is the person you become building it. The discipline, the patience, the ability to think long-term when everyone else is panicking. Most people live paycheck to paycheck their whole lives. Not because they couldn't do this, but because nobody ever laid it out for them like this. Now you know the map. The only question is, which level are you on right now? Drop it in the comments. I read every single one. And if this helped you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. It might change